All right, let's go around and see what's alive for each of us before we take our dive. We've got a full group, and it's my satsang friend Goalie is here to lead us off. What's going on,
Um,
Goalie?
uh, well, for me, the only part is excitement. Like from the beginning when I came to the Zoom meeting and I was with Nora and Inga. I know Inga, Nora was new, and then other came, and everyone's new for me almost. I'm very excited. Yeah, for me, it's excitement.
Yay, excitement. And just as we hear that, can we all find like a tuning fork? Can we find the resonance of that? Like this Goalie speaking of excitement, is she speaking? Can we find where she's really pointing to our system? She's pointing to our parts. Oh, I have an excited part. I can relate to that. I can feel that like a piano chord. Thank you, Goalie. It's so good to see you. And thank you. Inga, who's gonna have a new puppy. What's here for you?
Yeah, excitement too. I have a part that's screaming, it's real, fulfillment is here. It's, today, like, oh my God. And and then it's there's also the peace, there's the deep peace, or calm. I don't know, it's very calm and happiness.
Thank you. And as we hear Inga say deep peace, as we feel her say deep peace, as we feel this deep peace, this quality of our nature, can we find a resonance? What's most like that that's here now for each of us? This calm, this causeless deep peace. Mhm. Thanks, Inga. Elizabeth, what's it like being inside you today, Elizabeth?
Um, so yeah, the background circumstances aren't important, but they're just because of big snowstorm and my husband's out of town. So I feel that how we gonna survive little part of me, like a sense, like a flutter in my belly. That's that little part, like how we gonna survive. And I'm just super, but there's also this part that's super committed to like interested and committed. Like this is our opportunity to have a to have a not a dialogue, but keep listening and keep reflecting. My focusing practice of reflecting whatever a part is feeling to get to know a part better, which is there's a part like I really want, like this is my opportunity and I can really do that. I feel that how we gonna survive part and like this conviction about a part that feels a lot of like, oh, this is exactly what where we
And
need
with
to
the
be.
and with these two parts, Elizabeth, what are they arising in? Can you find a flavor of the space? What would that be of self that's here too?
Kind of like curiosity and oh, let's stay awake for this. Which would be
Mm.
the eight C's that would be um looking at my chart of the eight C's. I guess curiosity and maybe clarity.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. So we don't want to miss this, the gift of what Elizabeth's opening for us as she speaks of there's a part with the snowstorm by herself in the snowstorm. How are we going to survive? And she feels a little flutter in her belly. And we become subtle enough in our systems. See if we can resonate with that little flutter in Elizabeth's system. By herself in the snowstorm, a part that's worried. Are we going to survive? What's your version? What part in you is most like that? Is everything going to be okay? This is scary. And you find that. Where does that show up in your body? Is it in your belly as well? And we heard Elizabeth's response to it but how do you respond inside of you to a part that has that kind of fear? Is it welcomed? Is it okay that it's here? Is it okay that it's here now in Elizabeth's system? Or do you have a part that comes up as well that's like, okay, we need to fix this. We need to make it safe. Do you notice a part that comes in in response to it? Can it be okay in our systems that a part that's really scared is here inside of Elizabeth, inside of each of us? I'm guessing we can all find that expression in us. So the gift of Elizabeth today in sharing that. Thank you so much. My colleague Xandra is here, if you guys don't know, this is a real treat where Xandra goes with things. What's it like in Xandra world today?
There's not much going on, actually. I'm just back from a walk in the snow, and my feet were going all the way down. The snow was coming up to my knees. And it was so joyful and just beautiful. So I'm just kind of with that and the memory of that, and yeah, joy, gratitude. There's a stillness in that as well.
What's it like there, Xandra? What do we experience as we hear Xandra speak of she just came back from this lovely walk in the snow? Joy, gratitude, stillness here. As we feel the resonance, as we hear her voice, and we feel that resonance, what does it resonate within your system? What does it evoke? What quality of self do you feel? Is it the stillness that she speaks of? You feel stillness? Is it gratitude? Is it joy? Mhm. And just for our new folks, why is this interesting playing this game, like fully receiving the gifts of Xandra? Because what do we be with IFS? So much of it is about what Dick calls self-leadership, like becoming intimate with self, letting self come to the foreground. And what we're doing here is we're just becoming more intimate with how self is arising in each of our systems. Thank you, Xandra. Hey, Lori, I'm trying to remember if we've been together before.
We have not.
Oh,
Yes,
wait, but just for everybody, when you hear her say this, isn't this exciting? It's like her first time here. It's like a new gift under the Christmas tree for all of us. Lori, welcome. How's it going inside you? What brings you here today?
I guess life circumstances. You know, I think I was through a YouTube video or something, because I'm interested in IFS, and I have, so I came here because I was curious, and now I'm feeling restless because normally at this time of the morning I'd be doing my yoga and I can feel my body really wants to move and not sit still. Um, yeah, and a bit curious. It's like, who are you people and what do you guys do here? And yeah, part of me wants to be here and a part of me doesn't want to be here. So yeah.
Can we all relate to that? Like, what do you mean? More at this time of day, you want me to just sit here? Something wants to move. Something's restless. As we hear that in Laurie, don't we just love it? Can you just like there's just a welcoming of how Laurie is showing up and how life is moving in her with that restlessness, the uncertainty. Is this really where I want to be? And can we all find that in our own systems? The sense of a restlessness A part that would rather be, I'd rather be outside. I'd rather be back. I'd rather be with Sandra back in the snow right now. I'd rather be out in the snow. I'd rather be like thinking, playing with a puppy. Can we enjoy that part? Just be aware of that part in us. And then, Laurie, let me ask you one more question. As you notice this, the restlessness, the uncertainty, in IFS, we speak of this word of self, this beingness, or the idea of this kind of field, the background that everything arises in, sometimes presence, awareness, love, whatever it is. Is there a word for that in your system right now?
I feel a nice sense of calmness, and a word isn't coming to mind, but more what's coming to mind is it's okay. It's okay. I got you. We're here, there's just this
Mm,
feeling that I'm being held. Yeah. So, yeah.
no. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So some of us might be going, "Oh, wait, she's just saying okay." No, we want more what Xandra was saying, the stillness, this joy, this gratitude. But really, what about what Laurie was saying? There's just okayness here, a sense of being held. Sometimes the spiritual folks call it causeless okayness. What about that? What of that can we find here now in each of us? What's most like just a causeless okayness that's here? Thank you, Laurie. Hey, Meryl. Hi.
Hi. Um, oh goodness. I have a very, very agitated part that is very present. Um, I really am struggling to find that sort of sense of self. I've been very sort of agitated and worked up. And so a very present part is the part that doesn't feel safe, kind of calming down and coming back to earth
Yes.
and being
Well,
present.
well, but what about that agitated part? Let me just ask everybody, how are we doing with Meryl's agitated part? Is there a sense of like, wow, like it's a birthday party and we're all excited to see this agitated part and it's just totally welcomed? And even can we enjoy it? Can you feel the energy of the agitation? That's this life energy that's there. And this is an important question. Like, can we really welcome it? Or do you have, and then to notice if you have parts come up, it's like, oh, I hope she finds like this, what Laurie was speaking of or what Sandra was speaking of. Just notice, are we fully welcoming and just enjoying Meryl's agitation? Oh, look what Elizabeth has. And if we're
Mhm.
doing that, if we can do it with Meryl, can we do it with our own system as well? When we can feel this agitation, what's most like agitation in our system? Is it like, oh my God, how long are we going to go along and do this? When are we going to get going? What's the just notice any agitation that's there or agitation in your system? And where does it show up for each of us? Agitation is like in your heart, does your neck, does your back get tight? And agitation isn't fully welcomed, right? Self, beingness, it just welcomes what is, it enjoys what is, and it loves what is. Is the agitation welcomed inside of you? And one more question, Meryl, since I'm going to try to keep it real short. What's it like having that agitation there, having all of this being very agitated? What's that like being inside Meryl?
For me, um,
Hmm.
I mean, I feel it sort of like this flutter and tightness in my chest, very kind of worked up. uh, yeah, and it's I always appreciate your questions because the agitation can be sort of, I can have sort of a fear of it and sort of a pulling away from it, or I can have sort of a welcoming of it. Um, and sometimes I forget that I can have a welcoming of it.
Thank you. For all of us, how are we doing? Is it possible that Meryl's agitation could be the most interesting thing here right now? Really, like almost like Elizabeth, when Elizabeth spoke of when Elizabeth spoke of this little flutter in her belly, the survivor part, and she was fascinated by it. She was like, wow, this is my opportunity to really get to know this part. Is perhaps what Meryl's sharing with us similar. Wow, we get to really be intimate with agitation. Maybe this is the gift that Meryl's bringing us, very agitated, tightness. Can we really, truly be intimate that and welcome that in Meryl? Thank you so much, Meryl, for bringing your agitation to us today. Thank you. Isn't this fun? Let me just take a moment, a little break for just a moment before we go to V and Nora. Just in the spirit of Laurie's things, like not just wanting to sit here. Why don't we just take a moment and just like let it shake, let it move, whatever the body wants to do, and just we're just playing today. We're just like it's after school. We're playing, friends playing out in the backyard. No place to go. It's a celebration of what we are, of life just right here, right now, of us. Oh, awesome. Awesome. And V, as we're doing this, tell us something, V. Tell us about like what's your loudest part and what's the self here for you right now today? Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Uh, I've been fighting this cold for the last few days, and there's parts are tired of feeling tired, and then there's parts that, welcoming. This is a time to maybe your body's detoxing and you're needing to rest because we've been working so hard on our meditation program, and this stuff was coming up. So trying to be okay with that part, not doing what I needed to do.
Beautiful. And then as you notice, we all can find we're tired of feeling tired. Oh, I'm fighting this cold. Parts that don't want the cold to be here. Other parts that are okay with it. What's it all arising in UV in your meditation retreat? What's the flavor?
Um, there's a bit of a resistance and okayness.
Okayness. Thank you. Thank you, V. How about this? Is this just V that has parts that want something to be different? That like wants, as we hear her describe, I don't want to, I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of having this cold. As we hear that, can we find that what's most like that in our own system, our parts? I just want it to be different. Body to be different. I don't want to be sick. I'm enough of this. And is it okay that those parts are here for each of us? Is it okay that that part's here for you? Thank you, V. And our grand finale in our going around, then we're going to relax and just take a deep dive together, is our friend Nora, who we're all just meeting. Hey, Nora.
Hi. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks. And it's been lovely listening to you all. And as each person spoke, I could relate to, the nervousness, maybe a bit of nervousness, and then stillness, and yeah, almost everything that was said, I could relate. Yeah, calmness is the main one, really. That as I sit here, that it's just great to be here, and yeah, okay with how I feel. I don't know if I know enough about this, but I'm here to learn.
Thank you. And nothing, we don't have to learn anything. Nothing, we don't have to know anything about those three letters IFS because this is a celebration of each of us, celebration of how life is moving in us. Can we relate to that? Were you joining me in celebrating Nora as she was describing what was going on in her? She was describing the calmness. She was describing, oh, there's an okayness and the nervousness. Could all of that be welcomed? Can we really truly welcome her? Can we just be in awe of her system? That's what it was like when she was sharing. And one of the reasons we play this way is if we can really have that awe and love of everything that shows up in Nora, something really crazy happens. Something really crazy happens. We start to find that, whoa, wait a minute, everything that shows up in me, I'm also loving and in awe of, kind of like what Elizabeth was doing with us. And then what happens if, oh, look at Meryl's visitor? Oh. What happens? What's life like if we truly welcome and in awe of everything that arises in us? What's it like then? All of our parts, if there's a celebration of them. All right, so let's take a dive together. That was a lot. That was a lot that we've just been with. And maybe just as we all just rest back into beingness, feeling the weight of our bodies, sensations as our seat. The sensations in our throat as we breathe. The vibrations, the aliveness in our bodies. Let's I invite you to sink into beingness, into self, whatever flavor of self that's here for each of us that's the loudest. Maybe it's calm, maybe it's peace, okayness, presence. Sink into that. As you sink into beingness, into self, are you aware of self? Or are you aware as self? Can you let it have you? Can you let this okayness, this peace, this love, this presence have you pervade through this body of yours, from your toes to your eyebrows? And then if there are any parts that show up, any thoughts, feelings, sensations, can there just be a loving indifference to them? Like they're just the weather passing. Only thing we're interested in is this sinking in and being the self, the gratitude, the love, the okayness. Is it being enjoyed? Is there enjoyment of this? Is there enjoyment of you? And then from this place of resting as self, just gently open up to be aware of whatever the loudest part is for us, whatever the loudest voice is. Be aware of it. It might be, oh, I want to move. Where are we going? What are we doing? Am I doing this right? How much longer is this going to last? Whatever that loudest part is, sense of where do you hear it or where do you see it? Is it in your head? Is it in front of you? Get a sense of where you hear that voice, where you feel it, this loudest part. And then what's the next loudest voice in your system? And am I doing this right? Where are we going? Am I going to get what I want today? My back hurts. And for the second part, where do you notice this one? Where do you hear it? Where's the voice coming from? Or where's the sensation? And so these two parts or more, can we be aware of, can we be aware of both of them simultaneously? Can you see, feel, or hear them both at the same time? Can we open up as this infinite hot tub that just welcomes the parts? You are this space of welcoming. Or as this galaxy welcomes the planets and stars. If you are the hot tub, if self is the hot tub, what's the experience of your parts? Are they being welcomed? Does it feel like welcome? Does it feel like love? Does it feel like presence? What's it like to be met by self inside of you? This agitation. What's it like for the agitation to be welcomed? The enthusiasm to be effortlessly welcomed. The skepticism, the uncertainty, or the resistance inside to be welcomed. What's that like? And how do your parts know that self is here? Do they feel a connectedness? Do they feel, maybe it was Laurie, the sense of like being held by okayness? Do they feel care? What do your parts feel? Then my last question is, what is it that your parts really want? If you were to like hear these parts inside of you, what is it that they want? Do they want what Laurie was sharing, the sense of this being held by okayness? Or are they wanting more this image Xander gave us of just this white snow, this peace, this, this peaceful presence? Or are they wanting more understanding? What is it that your parts want? Or what is it that you want? What is it that you want? Care, understanding, love, enthusiasm, belonging. What is it that you want? And actually, I have one last thing. Maybe as we rest here in the depths of self, as we're welcoming our parts, is it possible that the 8 of us who are with you, that had these little lines separating us on our squares, that we can be included too, that our parts can be included too, that we can be welcomed? And it's not just your square, it's all of us be welcomed. And when you're ready, just gently, let's just come back together, open our eyes as we come back together. And it might be if it feels good to kind of shake it off because that was a lot. And again, there's nothing we need to do. There's nothing that needs to be understood. There's no doing it right. And maybe like, God, I didn't understand that part, or I didn't do that part right. Perfect. Perfect. That's the intention of this all, as we just shake it off and we're together. And like, how are you? That's my question. How are you? How are you? Notice what comes. How are you? Does a part come and say, well, that was a lot. I'm a little confused. I'm tired. I'm anxious. Like, oh my God, what did I do coming to this group? Like, notice what comes. How are you? Or is it more the self that comes? Is it more beingness? Is it more like looking at goalie? Is it more just like this presence, this peace, this love, this openness? What comes? How are you? What's most prominent? Is it that beautiful anxiety of Meryl's that we loved? Is that here? It's like, how are you? What's loudest in each of us? How are you? How was that? Let's go around again and see what's going on, but let's just see who wants to go first. Who's got something bubbling? How are you? How was that? Who wants to tell us? Mm.
I can go first. That was beautiful, Sid. I loved it.
What'd you love, Inga? What'd you love?
It just was so good, to feel into this. You know what, you talk about the hot tub, like self showing up as the hot tub. I was like, when I really check, it's like warm. It is a warm liquid, but it's kind of a little bit more solid than water, and this whole body, it felt very fluid. It was so and I don't know. So when talking about the parts, I had a part that's like, oh my gosh, the part that was also so excited, it's so happy because I had a conflict with a friend today, and my parts really trusted me, and they were just completely like, okay, you can do that. It was amazing. And my part is so, this part is so excited, like, oh my gosh, I could never believe this could be possible. So I have this excited part. I was the loudest, and then, well, of course, the planner part was like, oh, okay, I have to be on top, and that also was there, but really relaxing. I mean, it was this. I mean, it really felt like the parts were just, how do I say that? Just the same, like melting into, or just relaxing into this fluidness, this warmth, this being.
Let me bring everybody in here. Just as we hear Inga describe these two parts. There was an excited part, kind of trusted and conflict with the friend. There was an excited part. She also describes a planning part. And we'll do this with everyone today. As we hear these parts of hers, what do you think they're longing for? This excited part and this planning part in Inga. What are they really longing for? Is it to be understood, to be heard, to be seen, to be met, to be celebrated, to be appreciated? What do you hear that those parts are wanting? These are that they're really wanting. And then my invitation for all of us as we're doing this infinite hot tub together, or whatever your metaphor is, I'm going to invite us all to be what we hear Inga's parts are longing for, the excited one and the planning one. To be understood, to be seen, to be cared for, to be appreciated, to be celebrated. Can you find the self-quality that can be evoked by her parts to meet her parts today as we all meet them together? What else you got for us, Inga?
Oh yeah, I just was checking, so the planner part, it's certainly longing for safety. And it feels like being so this, it's so undescribably just solid. I mean, not solid is not the right word, but stable is basically, I guess, the best word. And so, and then it's the excited part. It's longing, yeah, to be seen, but then also for connection.
We all, as we hear this from Inga, especially the safety one, it's a really common one, right? For parts of us that are longing for safety. If we wanted to allow ourselves be that safety for Inga's parts, safety is here. What would we find inside of you? How would you be that safety as a quality of your intrinsic nature as self? Safety. Is it that word okayness that we were playing with? Well, there's just okayness here. Everything is okay. Is it unconditional love? What would it evoke in a very practical way? As if there was a child longing for safety. How would you meet that child? What quality of self would be here? That's my invitation for all of us. And then Inga says her other part was really looking for to be seen, connection. And you find a connectedness that's here, that's intrinsically here as a quality of your nature. Like, are you separate from this dear part in Inga? Are you separate from Inga? Or is there a connectedness? And we find that there's just an intrinsic connectedness here. And is Inga's part being seen? Is Inga being seen? Sorry, Inga, you were saying?
Oh, I guess that's mostly it. And I'm just so, I don't know, so blown away. I mean, this is not new, but to see like, oh wow, parts realize that fulfillment is here, just more and more. So I'm just so grateful for this journey.
So let me ask us all, when we hear Inga say that last line, how does that translate in your system? Parts are realizing that fulfillment is just here. How does that translate for your system? This is kind of it's such a beautiful thing with IFS because we call it parts updating, these aspects of us updating. And in Inga's system, they've just been updating to realize, well, self is always here, and more parts are starting to get that. And that's just what Dick calls self-leadership. The system just moves more and more towards self, towards this realization of self. How does that happen in your system? Is it like parts realizing, wow, there's an okayness here, there's presence here, or there's calm here, that there's something always here that's okay, that we can trust and rest and rely on? Final word, Inga?
Yeah, I just want to say one final word. I heard Rupert Spira say something like, and I just like, this is really this, everything that I've ever been longing for and ever longed for and ever that everything that I'm longing for right now, it's here. It's like, that's, to see that and to experience that is it's just such a game changer for my parts. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Inga. So when we hear Inga say that, does that sound like science fiction to our system? It's like, what's she talking about? She's been reading too much Eckhart Tolle. It's like, where do we go with that when she says that? That everything her system, our parts have been looking for is actually here. And we might be like, whoa, this is some very spiritual IFS, but it really isn't. You can go back to IFS 101, and that's what we're speaking about, the self that cannot be diminished and cannot be enhanced. It's always here. And the possibility that fulfillment could always be here. Woo! Before we go to who wants to go next, any comments? Like that was Inga just shared a whole lot there. Anything bubbling that would like to be shared? You got a little nod from Goalie there. Anything, Goalie?
No, I'm enjoying the whole thing. The like meditation you did, or the journey we went together, it was so beautiful. And when when you describe the hot tub, and like we experience that, when I am experiencing that, it's like there is nothing but the hot tub. There is, when I'm rested there, I'm fully that. And um, when that happens, there is no part left. It's like it's only peace, it's only trust, and nothing else. But then I would say there's another way. Instead of um, instead of looking at the parts from the thoughts, from our mind, from our thought, there's another way to look at them, from that hot thought, from the heart, like from that peace beneath everything. And when we do that, we realize that I have always been one with all those parts. There's no separation between us. So there is no enemy in them. They are all me. They are all that, they are all like bubbling from what I am, bubbling from that hot tub, and they can melt into me again. It's just, well, when I realized them, even the excitement that I said in the beginning, I was excited with Inga's puppy, with the cat in Elizabeth, that Elizabeth was holding, or Sandra was walking in the snow. That peace, that I was excited with all of them. But again, the excitement was me, was just, it was bubbling in me, and it could just melt in me again. So yeah, I just wanted to
Wow.
say that. I mean, it can be looked at in different ways.
First thought is anybody's having a part that comes up that says, I don't understand. I can't follow what Goalie's sharing here. It's just to welcome, that gets to be welcomed. Nothing needs to be understood here. We're just playing. But can you feel her? We get to play on all these different levels, the sense of the resonance here, the tuning fork. Your system can get a flavor of this. That's why people do psychedelics, right? They get a visceral experience. They get a real glimpse of something new. I think that's one thing Goalie's offering us for us right now is is something quite beautiful. She said, there's another way of seeing this. The idea that everything is of the heart. Everything is of the hot tub. There is no separation. These parts, even really loud anxiety, and Meryl gave us this gift of this today, this anxiousness, then that is all of the heart, all of this love, not separate from it. And we just had Goalie kind of walk us through how it plays in her system. What was that like? What was it like to go for that ride with Goalie? See this from another perspective. Goalie, any final words with this before I kind of open it up and see what's bubbling for people? This, anything else with this gift?
No, just the peace is in our heart. It's what we are. No, nothing.
Thank you so much, dude. It's what we are. Everything is of this peace. Everything is of this heart. Everything is of this hot tub, including especially the parts that come up and say, no way. Are you crazy? She's one of these, Scully lives in California. You're one of these California kind of spiritual people. Come on, there's a reality here. And just that, all of it, everything's welcomed. And there's nothing needs to change. And it's not that where Goalie's speaking from is better than being caught in parts. All of them playing with everything. All of this is the play. All of this is the hot tub. All of this is the heart. Luis, how are we doing? Anything what bubbling for anybody? Like it's when we hear Goalie and Inga, any kind of like little reactions, any parts that are coming up that are like, God, I don't know what to do with this. How are we doing? Anything bubbling?
I just want to say something, like just now it just came to me to say, if we, all of us, we remember that if it was not me, if I was not, none of these parts were existed. So I, the peace, the heart, what I am is actually, that is the reality. All the parts come and go, so they cannot be reality. They feel very real, we challenge, but if I was not, none of those were. Just came to my mind. So
Thank you. Just pause for a minute. Does anybody have a part that we can feature that is kind of like saying, what are you talking about, Goalie? Or this was not the right group for me today. This is, I don't know about what they were talking about. Any parts, anybody has a part that we'd like to put a spotlight on for a moment? Because it's so fun where Goalie and Inga's taking us today. What's coming up? Who's got something? Raise your hand, start talking. What we got?
I just love the idea of dance and the movement and the acceptance, really, of everything, no matter what, regardless of how we feel or what part we're in touch with, that it's all okay. Movement probably was the biggest one that came into me. You know, when you asked us to move, I realized that I don't dance as much as I used to. And yeah, that's something I'm going to change today.
Isn't it wonderful how like parts that come up, like Lori might have thought this part of hers that just wanted to move was like, oh God, this is a problem part. This is getting in the way. But like, can we see, like, look how that part of hers is like such a huge gift to us. And how for Nora, it's like, whoa, that's what I've been missing. I haven't been moving enough. I haven't been dancing enough. And then Nora, you speak of acceptance, like this just acceptance and welcoming what's here. Like, what's it like in your system? Can you get a taste of it, of what it's like if everything that arises was truly welcome, just like Goalie's cat right now, if it's just being like loved and cared for and enjoyed?
Yeah. Yes, anything I feel right now is very easy to accept because it's all good and positive. But maybe in later in the day, even, something could come up that isn't quite as acceptable, that will give me food for thought. That
Right.
everything that comes up is meant to come up.
Well, let's see if some of our friends here can help us with that, right? Because we're really not separate. When Elizabeth speaks of her part that's really scared, or we got the anxious part, or we got the skeptical and certain part in Laurie, I mean, maybe they can be for all of us to see how we are with truly welcoming those parts in us and how in them and how they resonate with us as we play, because we're helping each other. Anything else for right now, Nora?
No, just dance. Peace.
Awesome.
Peace.
Just dance. Awesome. Who wants to go next with what's coming up, either in response to what we've been hearing or what's going on in you? What was that like doing that dive? How are your parts doing? Do you have parts that are, I can see, yeah, what's going on? Who wants to go next? Meryl, yay, I'm so curious. What's happening inside your world?
Well, I appreciate Nora saying the word dance. That's definitely kind of like what got me moving. And also I had said I've had a lot of trouble kind of feeling like sinking into kind of feeling that self-presence. But I appreciate coming here because, for instance, when you talked about can we welcome Inga's parts and her different parts? It feels so much easier to welcome them for somebody else, than for me. And when Nora said the word dance, I realized that I there's this dance happening right now around me. I don't know if you've noticed, there are two visitors that I have, and they're having just this extreme drama while we're here. And it's so hard for me to see in myself, but I can see it in other people and other creatures. And these two are just, they seem to be in conflict, but it's so much more fun for them to be in conflict than to just be bored, you know? And I might project some anxiety or want to fix that, but nobody's getting hurt. They're enjoying the sort of the play back and forth between who gets to be in the chair with me and who's over there. Um, and sometimes I have to kind of witness it from the outside to be reminded that I can see myself that way too, that there's sort of a play of parts and that they're all doing their thing.
How do you do that? How do you get, because I think that goalie was giving us a little glimpse of that in her system. I think just this sense of it's all this play of parts. How are you able to see, especially if there's anxiety, there's sense of, oh, I should do this right, I need to do this differently, or wow, I should find more self here. As we hear all those voices, these parts, how does it open up to be able to appreciate them, to enjoy them all as just like your dogs that are in the play of it all? How does your system find that, Meryl?
It's very hard. And I think having like a metaphor or something is what's helpful, you know, like seeing it in Inga or seeing it in the dogs. Then I can hold on to it for just a second for myself and realize that that anxious part is okay. And I don't need to fix that anxiety. And you just embrace it and let it be what it is. But it's very hard. I need the outside perspective.
Right. And so let me ask everybody as we hear this invitation to Meryl, this that we're exploring, like how do we enjoy the play that's occurring inside of each of us? Like this is the gift. We're hearing the inner worlds of each of us. How do we enjoy that inside of ourselves? And so notice how this works inside of you to find that place of enjoyment. Like they're just two puppies playing. Even if they're growling, even if they're angry, there's all play. How do we find that? And then here's a little IFS trick. It's like, what's meeting the parts inside of you? Are they being met by self? Or are they being met by another part? Like Meryl was saying, like, we need to fix this. We need to do something about this. And when another part comes up that wants to fix it, can that also be met by self? It's a little IFS shortcut for this, but how does it work? How do you find this sense of welcoming to where it shifts beyond, it shifts to the next level from welcoming to just like appreciating of play. It's all play. Like there's spiritual words for this. They call this in India like the dance of Leela. Everything's just play. And you can see our whole systems display. It's a very beautiful thing. I think we were getting that from Goli today, where it's all play, or I like calling it the joy of life. It's just the joy of life that's playing out here, just like looking at Meryl's puppies. Anything else with that, Meryl? Anything else you'd like to share?
No, other than I always appreciate insights into your questions like that. I have a very, very hard time between what is, how can I more experienced self or bring it to the forefront versus I have this manager part that's doing it all. Like, oh, I will act like self now, like I will embrace the parts. And like, not being just completely embodying that manager is very, very hard for me.
Thank you so much. Can we all relate to that? A manager that wants, I know, I'll figure out how to do this. I can kind of manage the situation. I can find a version of that, right? Inside our systems, a manager that comes in to help. And then my last question for us all, and kind of getting this gift that Meryl's offered us of showing us what's happening inside of her with these parts, is you just listen from a distance as if Meryl's system was in the restaurant and all of her parts were there and you were just kind of in a distance seeing them. What is it that Meryl's parts are longing for? What do you hear or feel? Is it to be seen, to be appreciated, to be accepted, to be loved, to be welcomed? Is it more of the safety that Inga spoke of, connection, belonging? What is it that her parts are longing for? And what's most like that which is here within you, for what she's longing for? Is it connectedness, belonging, care, seeing, welcoming, presence? just going to invite us all to be that just for a moment. Whatever we're hearing. Oh, it's so sweet. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And from this beautiful place, who would like to share next how life is moving in you? What's it like? What parts are here? Who wants to go next? Elizabeth, Laurie, Zandra, V.
I'll go.
Yay.
Yeah, I love that guided meditation or invitation. It was, oh wow. I could I um at one point it was almost like my body felt like a feather, and I turned on my heater, and it was like I was just involuntary, just effortlessly moving with the heat. It was just so light and just so really lovely. And but right now there's a playful part of me is coming up. I'm just like looking at the screens, and like I'm above you and you have that beautiful painting, and I can see how things are merging, and Inga has this beautiful it's like a blank canvas behind her. And so yeah, there's that happening. And then a reminder too, it's been coming up lately, this invitation that I have for myself, that when I'm checking in, always asking the question, what is it I want? Not is it what I don't want or I don't like. What is it I want, and how does it feel? Not how would it feel, how does it feel? And we've been doing that here now, and it's just I just find it really an interesting thing to check in. And when I ask that, or what do I want, or what do I like the word yearning, is there something I'm yearning for? And what does that feel like? And always
What
going,
is it that you're yearning for, Laurie? What is it
it's
that's being
often
yearned for?
very similar. It's often a very similar thing, and it traces, I have kind of a shortcut. It usually starts off with, I'm feeling, often it's like I feel lonely, and I'm feeling like I want some, I want friendship or belonging or parenting or something. I want somebody to take care of me. And then it's like, well, how does that feel? And it always comes up, I feel peace, like, because the wanting would stop
Mhm.
and there'd be this feeling of peace. It always
Let
goes
me,
down to peace. That is always ground zero.
lovely.
Peace.
Let me just invite, I don't want everybody to miss this beautiful opportunity that you're giving us, Laurie. Just as we hear Laurie say, there's some loneliness here. There's loneliness, and there's a longing for friendship, belonging, parenting, care. Can we all notice that, and that loneliness, and then what's most like what's being longed for that's here now in us? We can welcome Laurie's parts. Fully welcome Laurie. Belonging, connectedness, care, parenting, friendship. Not from a part in us, not from a doing, from a being, from our intrinsic nature. Find this belonging, this care, this love for Laurie's parts. Like just to be this place of care and welcoming and inclusion for Laurie's parts. You have to do anything for that to happen. Do you have to do anything? Or is it just here? Oops, I forgot to say I need to leave from Inga. And as we're doing this, let's just let's just take a moment with Inga and kind of Inga, will you give us a final word, will you? Because like you shared something very vulnerable today and talking about finding this fulfillment here, and it was quite a gift. Any kind of final word from Inga, then we'll come right back to Laurie.
Oh, I just wanted I just want to say it was such a gift to be with all of you. I have a couple of minutes, but it is so good to hear from everybody. Um, just appreciate it so much. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Inga.
I'm just going to
There's
wave in a couple of minutes, if that's okay.
It's perfect. Perfect. And we just notice with Inga just what that evokes as we hear her appreciation. And then we're back with Laurie's parts. Just this sense of belonging, care, and love. And Laurie, what happens for your parts? What happens for you when there's a sense of, I mean, this is very vulnerable, and I don't mean to put you on the spot here. Just what's it like to be received and welcomed and cared for that way, to get what you're looking for?
I just feel like crying. I can feel like, yeah, tears and yeah, it feels sweet. It feels sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. What's it like for all of us? I won't go around, but what's it like, this beautiful opportunity of getting to meet Laurie this way? What's it like to get to meet parts in others, and perhaps even parts in ourselves this way? As we're meeting her this way, my guess is parts within our own system are feeling this love, this belonging, this care from us. Anything else you'd like to share, Laurie, before we open it up again?
No, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, yeah, to share. And thank you for everybody who's holding space for us. Yeah.
Gosh, thank you, Laurie. Let me ask us all, how are you? How are you? We got good news. We got Xandra, V, and Elizabeth that we haven't even gotten to fully receive yet, that we have left. Like, just to this, how are you? And like, notice and ask that, what comes up? Is it a part that comes up? Oh, I'm getting a little tired. We've been together for an hour, or I'm excited. We get to hear what's happening with Elizabeth, with that little part that she was describing. Or is it just self that answers, how are you? Hmm. And so who's gonna go next? Sandra, V, Elizabeth, who wants to go next? Who's got something? Who's ready?
I can go. I don't know what words you used, Sid, or what you said, and I actually can't remember any of it, which is interesting. But it was really beautiful, and so I'd love to hear it again at some point. It was lovely. I had an experience of just such a pure, like the most beautiful pure love, almost coming in from behind me. You know, the kind of love that can't not make you cry. Well, for me, it couldn't not make me cry. Um, and the love was coming into my body, like the being that's in the body was receiving the love, and it was just all tingly. And then for a moment, I was the love, but it was only a moment. And then I was the body, and then I was almost in between the two. It was like an observer of the process, and that's where I stayed most of the time. And so there was the move in between, but then I got a bit stuck with thinking, and then became the observer. And then when you asked what your parts want or long for, there's a baby that I've been meeting and working with in my therapy, and she came and she just wanted really gentle touch on her head and her eyes and her cheeks, and so there was just a beautiful time of that, just really gently being with the baby's face and head. Yeah, it's really lovely.
Just let me just check in with everybody. What's this like to hear, as Andrew's sharing? Like, are we sometimes there's a sense of responding on two different levels, like we're hearing the words, hearing the sharing of what occurred, and then there's the what we feel, the resonance, the beingness. What's it like? What's that like for you to experience Sandra? What's her gift? Does it resonate with our systems? What quality of beingness does it evoke in you? Does she evoke in you? And then when she speaks of, then I was the love, then I was the love, how does that translate into your system? Then I was the love, was the love. How do you know that? What's your version of that? And then she describes a shift from being the love to being the body. Oh, then I'm my body. What's your version of that shift? And then what's the difference in being the love and then being the body? What's the difference? Can you make sense of that? What's the difference? And then are there times when there is no difference? And then she moves from being the body to this place of awareness. No, I'm awareness. I'm aware. I'm this observer, this awareness. What's your version of that? How does that make sense in your system? No right or wrong, just to notice where it goes. And maybe it evokes a part like, I have no idea what she's talking about. And that's really cool and exciting and welcomed. And when she describes the baby, it just wants to be gently touched. The baby inside of her, this young part that just wants to be gently touched. Could you find a resonance there for a really young, vulnerable part perhaps in you? Just wants to be touched and cared for. Any final thoughts, Sandra? Thank you for that gift. Woo, this is a lot. How's everybody doing?
I want to say
Maybe just take a
goodbye.
breath.
Just real quick saying, I got a message from Nora. She wants to say she got kicked out because of her internet, but she wants to say she enjoyed it a lot, and she wants to say thank you to you, Sid, and to everybody. So that's
Oh, good. Tell her I hope she comes back, Inga, please.
yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you so much again.
Thanks. See you later.
Bye bye. Enjoy the rest.
And so again, how's everybody doing? We can just kind of shake it off. And again, there's nothing that we're having to do here. We're just playing. We're just playing, and we get to be curious and open because we got V and Elizabeth to hear from and go on a little journey with. Woo! Okay, who's ready? V, Elizabeth, what's going on? Elizabeth, what's going on?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm happy if V wants to go first. I'm happy to go after V. I can go either if V wants to go. Can you hear
V,
me?
we can't hear you. Oh, say it again.
Wait, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
We
Can you
hear.
hear
I
me now?
hear you, Elizabeth. I got you, Elizabeth.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Just feel like I've just gotten the permission to just rest and let it be. I'm feeling because there was the parts. It's been 6 days. I haven't done anything, but my body is needing rest. So that permission from the self, it's okay to rest. Just feeling very peaceful. That's where I am right now.
Oh, this. I love your words, like permission from the self that it's okay to rest. just for all of us, this being, this self, our nature, can we find that it's perhaps always welcoming us just the way we are, and just always there's this, I love these words, permission to rest. For us, do we have parts that have difficulty with like, no, there's something I need to do, or hey, it's like people are looking at me. And it's like, but then there's self that just permission to rest. What's this like for you, V? What's it like just to rest? Oops, we're not hearing.
I've found it in that, like just feel the embodiment of something. Like I'm not in my head too. The part was just pushing, you need to get better. You tried so many different things. You're not better yet. But now just kind of it's peaceful. It's kind of there's a peace to it.
And so, can we all find this like perhaps this tension of self? It's just a yes. It just welcomes. It just loves what is. It just loves you just the way you are. It's this permission to rest. It's this okayness. And then there are parts. They're like, no, I need to get better. There's something else I need to do. I need to fix this. I need to take care of this. I need to achieve. I need to find more peace. I need to change my life. And then there's self. It just loves it just the way it is and welcomes it just the way it is. How does that play in your system? Can you feel that dance? Can you feel that dance that between this ever-present okayness and your parts that want something to be different? And then here's the big question for all of us, and I'm going to ask V. Is it okay that it's like that? Is it okay that there's a part that says, no, you need to get better. You need to do more. You've been here. You're still not getting it yet. There's more to do. Is it okay that that's there? Can that be included? Just to go back to the sense of play that Meryl was saying, could that be like a dog that's jumping around? It's like, no, no, you got to do something different. You got to do it. Just see the adorableness of it and enjoy it as part of the play. What do you find, V?
Um, yeah, I'm allowing being is allowing that part to be there as well.
And how about in all of us? How are we doing with that? Is it like that in our system when we have a part that's jumping around as one of Meryl's dogs and it's like, whoa, this is a problem. This is causing a problem. But then another, there's a clarity that it's like V was saying, that part's allowed and welcomed as it is too. How does that play in each of us? As V's leading us in just relaxing, just being here, just this self, this hot tub, this roomy guest house, this love, this care that just embraces and welcomes that we just get to relax here. How's that for all of us? Just relaxing here with V, with the rest of us. Anything else? Final thoughts you'd like to share here with this V? Mm,
Oh, great. Thank you, and feel complete.
well, thank you for where you took us to this self that just accepts that we just get to rest. And you might be like, no, no, I want to go where Laurie was taking us or where Meryl was taking us, all of that. No, but what about this gift of where V just took us, just to relax here, to relax in self, just the way we are. Okay, I got really good news. We saved the grand finale for us. We've got a grand finale now. You ready? You ready? This is makes you ready for the grand finale. Ready for the grand finale? It's about to come. Ready? One, two, three. Elizabeth!
Hey, everybody. Um, I feel like the grand finale is, and I say this every time, is the love is this beautiful, like fizzy energy. That's how it feels in my system that um you bring to Sid, that you help us uncover in ourselves, and like have that fizziness of like, oh, we can have a party with these, if it's agitation or restlessness, like it just so turns everything on its head for me that we can have a party. And I love that. Just that. And I'm thinking, which of the eight C's is that? I don't know, but um it's just,
What's that like?
it's
I love that.
priceless.
What's that?
It's so rich
Hmm.
and priceless and so resourcing. Like, I'm not even sure I like that word. But like it just so turns the volume up on self and presence. Um like, yeah, we can do this work, but also we can have a part, it can be a party, not just
Mhm.
working with, it's this priceless perspective that really feels so fizzy.
Fizzy. And so this feeling, the fizziness of it, what's it like for, because you were very open with us with your parts. Like what's it like for the parts in Elizabeth with the sense of this welcome beyond welcoming? It's a sense of, hey, we're throwing a party for all of our parts. Everybody's welcome. It's a party here. We love these parts. In your parts, and just for all of us, can our parts feel it? Can they feel this welcome, this care, this celebrating of them just the way they are, that nothing needs to change? Like again, I love that Meryl shared what she showed with the anxious. We really got to celebrate that. And same with Elizabeth's part, this one that scared of survive. Am I going to be able to survive? How have I survived this? And then these, this, how are your parts doing with that? What's it like inside of you with this, Elizabeth?
Yeah, well, parts are feeling much better. The happy fizzy party, like it's all a party, throws a lot of weight onto connection to self and presence, and the parts are like, get to calm down, because the first like 45 minutes it was all like oh, I have to, I should, I don't, we shouldn't be on this call, we should be texting around trying to find someone who can plow our driveway for us, and like, survive, um and and then I don't, as always, just this, as we bring more of this fizzy kind of flavored self energy, yeah, parts definitely feel safer.
How about that? As we hear Elizabeth say, parts feel safer. Is that happening in our systems? As we're kind of nearing the end together, we've been together for an hour and 20 minutes together in this container, in this perhaps in the celebration and party of our parts. In you, are they feeling safer? And if so, what is it? What is it that allows your parts to feel safer? What is it in your system, Elizabeth? How do they find the safety? What's the safety for them?
Hmm. I mean, the only way I think to answer is that when self and self and presence, when I'm really solidly grounded in that, then everything just can ease up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Just how about this as we feel Elizabeth right now, as she was saying, for me, when she was here saying, I think Goli gets it too, when she's saying, like, solidly grounded in self and presence. Did you all feel that? Solidly grounded in self and presence. Like, what do you mean by that? What do we don't have to ask. It's like we can just feel it. The mind doesn't have to know. It's like a tune, a key on the piano. We can feel it from Elizabeth. She's showing us this solidly grounded in self and presence. And what's this like for our parts as we rest solidly grounded and present? But like, what else you got for us, Elizabeth?
A lot of gratitude that I was able to be on this call today. Yeah,
Mhm.
there was a part that was like when my husband goes away, there's a part that's like, we need a therapy dog. We need to get a therapy dog and we got to, get on those therapy dog websites and I know that's a part looking for security, comfort, and to not be alone, and safety, which kind of all go together. Not being alone and safety are the same for the parts. But as the group progressed, that whole thing about we need a therapy dog kind of just everything kind of quieted down,
So, for all of us, when we hear Elizabeth being left alone, there's this huge snowstorm. And she's like, well, we need a therapy dog. We don't want to don't be let, she's apart, not be left alone. We all can find this in our own systems, right? When a part is just this, I want to be alone. I want comfort. I want care. I want connection. And then we're watching Elizabeth's system, like the sense of finding that here, finding that in this kind of secure self and presence. What about for your system when you are wanting that? Where do you find it? You get the help of others, or do we just, can you just look within and find some of it right here, right now? Any final words, Elizabeth?
just thank you for your fizzy bubbliness. It's just like fresh like a peppermint patty.
Oh, thank you. And it was like it got to be opened up more today thanks to Laurie with the sense of I want movement. I want, I don't want to just sit here. And then and so we got 5 minutes left. Is there anything bubbling that would like to be shared by anybody, or we can move to closure? Anything that would like to be said? Anything else, or especially any difficulties? Any parts that were like that was great, but are there any buts here? Anybody have a but? Oh. Anything that's like, but I forgot to say this, or I want to say this. Anything else? I want to say, oh, I forgot about that. Then on that note, I think our grand finale, we could not have done better than our grand finale for our closure, Elizabeth closing our group today. And I just want to add to that, just thank each of you for the gift that you brought us. This was truly, you get this right, truly co-created of all of us, each of us facilitating and leading the rest of us. And just that the huge gift of each of us today. Thank you. Hope you'll come back again. I loved it. See you later.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sid. Thank you. Thank you.